Good evening and welcome to Mystic Matters. I am your host, Tricia Walsh, president of the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. I do not have my lovely co-host with me this evening, Suzette, but I do have just as wonderful of people here. We have Susan Bailey and Mark Whalen here to talk about the Summer in the City of Groton initiative, and that will be an excellent show, so stay tuned. There's lots to learn and hear about. In the meantime, I do want to mention, since it is Monday evening, you still have 4 business days left to get tickets to our Groton Business Update, which is hosted by the Groton Business Association, an affiliation of the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce. And that is on Friday, May 21st at 7:30 a.m. at Groton Inn and Suites. You can register at grotonbiz.com or mysticchamber.org. And that will be a panel discussion with 5 speakers relative to the economic situation in the town of Groton and where we're going and where we'd like to see ourselves go. Very informative. I encourage everyone to attend. But without further ado, let's just pass it right on and welcome our guests here. Welcome, Mark. Welcome, Susan.
Hi, Tricia. Thank you for having us.
Yeah, nice to be here.
So this is the second year of Summer in the City of Groton.
It is.
Okay, so we can go that based on the first year, there was obviously some success and a lot of excitement about it, and so the city has decided to put this collaborative effort again together.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, I'm delighted. We are all delighted that the city was able to fund the program for our second year. Our launch year was very successful. We had really good feedback. We were able to promote the many events that are already taking place in the city of Groton, but because of our active civic and volunteer groups and whatnot, they don't have, in many cases, the resources to promote the events that they are putting so much work into. So a big piece of what Summer in the City does is take that burden off of them and promotes the events as a package. We have a website where we have a listing. I actually was doing some website updates yesterday, and we are up to almost 90 entries for events on the Summer in the City website.
And that's just in the city of Groton.
Within the city of Groton. And you know, we're only in May. And people are still working on organizing their events, and I fully expect that plenty more will be coming in. So I think that's really exciting. A lot of people don't realize how much we have going on and how much there is to do. We are working hard on several events that we also support as a program ourselves, and Mark Whalen, who is our master volunteer, is lead for 3 of those. And Mark, perhaps you'd like to talk about those a little bit. It's one of them coming up fairly soon.
Very soon. I would love to talk about them. June 6th on Saturday at Eastern Point Beach, we have our kickoff event, which is also a kickoff for Coast Guard Summer,
Yes.
the 225th anniversary of the Coast Guard. And we are calling that the Eastern Point Artisan Craft Show and Fair. And we take over pretty much the entire grounds of Eastern Point Beach, inside the Zabersky House and the grounds. And we have just about something for everybody, from food vendors to kite flying. It's just packed with great activities for the family. And then we go fast forward to July 18th, and we have the Art on Groton Bank Art Festival, which is on the grounds of the beautiful and historic Bill Memorial Library. And that also, we're going to have beautiful live music, we're going to have artisans, we're going to have book signings, and again, we're going to have food vendors of local vendors.
You have to have food at every
They have to have food. Everybody loves to be fed. And then we have a slight break until September 13th on Sunday, and we close the season with the Thames Street Block Party.
Excellent.
Right on the water in Thames Street in the Puffins parking lot, and it's across from the Avery Cop House Museum, which also will be having an open house.
Excellent.
So it's all 3 events are very, very spirited and very popular for the community. People love to come out and see us.
Great. Now, the first event that you were referring to, the one that's at the Zabersky House at Eastern Point Beach, what time does that start?
That starts at 9 o'clock
9 o'clock? Okay.
and runs all the way until 3 o'clock in the afternoon.
All right. And I believe last year, I think there was some plant sales.
There's going to be plant sales, and we'll have 200 or 300 plants, and we sell them at a rock bottom price. It's a great deal. We are going to have a pie contest this year, which will be new. And we are going to, as I think I just mentioned, we're going to have kites flying all over the property. And we have a barber tent. Children's First Groton is going to be there with books, and we try to touch a little bit for everybody.
Excellent. That sounds like it's going to be a lot of fun. And I know that the Black Party, which ends the summer, ends it with a bang, and it was a great success last year, which is, to see it continue again this year is really exciting.
Yes.
And that's bands and all sorts of
Food
activities.
vendors,
Yes.
Children's activities. All of these events are very family friendly. Even Art on Groton Bank, which is primarily an art venue, is going to have children's creation stations with art-related activities for kids. Food, of course, kids like food too. And one of the things that I'm pretty excited about is new this year to the event, and it's the Emerging Artists Tent.
Yes, the Emerging Artist Tent is going to be part of Art on Groton Bank. And we are dedicating tent space to young artists who have not displayed at an outside forum before.
Okay.
And we're offering that tent for those young artists to get started and to start showing their work at fairs.
Excellent. And can they sell their work as well?
They certainly can.
Absolutely.
Oh,
Oh,
how
yes.
exciting.
All of
Yes.
the vendors will be selling their work, and it's really a challenge for new emerging artists in many cases to have a venue where they can show their work and get greater exposure, not to mention possible sales.
Yes, no, we're very
So,
excited to be able
yeah.
to offer that component this year
Excellent.
to those artists. And we encourage all of our vendors to reach out to our guests and to be very interactive with our guests, to make it a lot more fun, and to have offerings, free offerings and samples if they're food and that type of thing, to really interact
Yes.
with the crowds. People love that. They like to be a part of something.
Absolutely, absolutely. And I mean, so you briefly touched on the Coast Guard Summer, but if you could just elaborate a little bit on that program and how that's tying into the Summer in the
Love to.
City.
Yes, I'll leave that to you, Susan.
The Summer in the City, the Coast Guard Summer was designated by Governor Malloy, and it is in honor, as Mark mentioned, of the 225th anniversary of the Coast Guard overall of the service, and also the 100th anniversary of the Academy here in southeastern Connecticut. So those are two really big anniversaries, and New London and Groton are both working really with the Coast Guard and with each other. There's a lot of really nice synergy going on to make it a really big summer. And what Summer in the City has done, as many of the event organizers in New London are doing, is incorporate components of the Coast Guard into our events. And I have a list. There's so much I had to write it down.
That's okay. Please, let us
We
know.
have, excuse me, at the events that Mark has been talking about, we have brought things into that, and those include, at Eastern Point Fair, we'll have a photographic display of the history of the Coast Guard, and all of these photographic displays that we will have at events have been created by the Coast Guard. So they are either lending us their panels, or they've given us the photography so that we can have it printed up to show and really let people know more about the Coast Guard. Many people don't. It's got a rich history. It's really interesting, and they are doing some pretty amazing things right now. So, they just don't get the exposure that some of the other services do, and this is a great opportunity for education. I know that in New London they're doing a lot of education with the school systems tied to this program. So we will have the history display, history of the Coast Guard. At the Eastern Point event, we'll also have, the Coast Guard Foundation has a project that they do called birthday postcards. and they bring postcards, and they're coming to this event with their postcards, and people can go fill out a postcard, and those get sent to people in the service on their birthday.
neat.
Yeah, it's
Oh,
a
what a
really,
nice
really
idea.
nice program.
We're very
So
excited
we'll be
about
doing
that.
that. I think everyone knows by now that the Day is publishing a wonderful book on the history of the Coast Guard called Service Above Self. And we will have promotions and sales of that book at all three of the events that Mark's been talking about. So we have that. At the other three events, to get through those first, at Art on Groton Bank, we will have photographic displays on the War of 1812, which we had the Stephen Decatur up the Thames River, and the Coast Guard was very involved in all of that. And we will have the history of the Eagle, which
Very
people around here really love the Eagle, with good cause. And we will have a woodwind quintet. The Coast Guard Woodwind Quintet will be performing at Art on Groton Bank at 1 o'clock. So
yes,
that's going to be really nice. You know, the Coast Guard bands are fabulous.
Yeah.
They are fabulous. And then at the Thames Street Block Party, we will have, the Diversity in the Coast Guard Service exhibits. There are three of those: Hispanic service in the Coast Guard, African American service in the Coast Guard, and women in the Coast Guard. So again, a subset of a service, things that people don't really generally get information on. So I'm delighted with those, and I'm really looking forward to seeing those. We also have a number of additional events in Groton that are very Coast Guard specific. On Thursday, July 16th, on the lawn at Yukon, there will be a Coast Guard band concert with the full band.
Oh, wow.
Okay, think about it. On the waterfront, on the lawn, the sculpture path. I mean, it just really doesn't get much better than
And
that.
I'm sure you can bring a picnic
You
and enjoy
betcha.
that. Yes, that sounds great.
Absolutely.
We'll guarantee you great weather, too, for all three events.
Yeah,
Oh,
yeah,
that's great.
that's a given. We have a presentation by Jim Streeter, the town historian, on the Coast Guard at Avery Point. And there was a training facility. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but the Coast Guard training facility was located at Avery Point from 1942 to 1967.
Oh, okay.
And Jim Streeter is putting together a really good presentation. He'll have some memorabilia, he'll have photographs, and of course he's very knowledgeable on all things Groton history. So that is coming up on July 30th, also at Yukon, Avery Point. And then we have Service Above Self. I have been working with New London, and the Day is printing illustrations from the Service Above Self book that they're publishing in poster size.
Okay.
And those will be displayed in storefront windows in downtown New London and along Thames Street in Groton. They'll be there all summer.
Oh, what a nice tie-in on both sides.
Excuse me. So that's going to be great. And we have two wonderful art exhibitions. The Coast Guard at Work is reproductions from the COGAP collection. Now, COGAP is the Coast Guard art program, and it is fine art, all, of course, Coast Guard related. The juried to be a Coast Guard artist, so it's a really, it's a big deal. They're based in Washington. Excuse me. And they are lending us reproductions of the Coast Guard at Work. I have the e-file of it, and they are the Coast Guard today. What is the Coast Guard doing today? They were all paintings by various artists, and that show is going to be in the foyer of the City of Groton Municipal Building.
Oh, nice.
And it will be there for July and August. So you can come in any time that the municipal building is open and see that. And then there's also an exhibition of original works from the COGAP collection. That one will be at the Alexei von Schlupp Gallery at Yukon.
Okay.
And that will be July, August, and September. So there's a lot going on.
There's
It's
a lot
very
going on.
exciting, and we're really glad that we can be part of it because the Coast Guard, again, has contributed a lot to our community, and they're a really important part of our community.
Absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's very exciting that the two entities can partner and play off of each other
Yeah.
and cross promote. I think it's extremely important. And also, what am I going to do? What am I going to do with the kids over the summer? What are we going to do? Well, if you need something to do,
I'll tell you what you're
are
gonna
going
do.
to go to summerinthecity.com.
Summerinthecity.Groton.com.
And it will link you to the Coast Guard activities directly. It'll also link you to all of the specific Summer in the City
Yes.
activities. One of which, my personal favorite, and I didn't go last year, but I think that it's just the neatest idea, and that is the citywide yard sale day.
Oh, yes.
And so if you want to just elaborate a little on how many participants we ended up with at the end of that.
We had the inaugural citywide yard sale last year, of course, and this year we're repeating it on June 27th, Saturday. We've already announced it so that people in Groton City can start preparing. Sorting, going through. I've already started mine. How about you, Mark?
Absolutely, I sure have.
And we are, what the citywide yard sale is all about is everyone in Groton City is invited to host their own yard sale on that day. We will promote it across media as the citywide yard sale so that people can come to Groton City and just go from one sale to another. And we also are inviting all yard sale hosts in the city to register with Summer in the City. They will get one of these very nice
Very nice.
Summer in the City posters, and they're eye-catching. It's also become really iconic for the Summer in the City program. So they can post this at their sale, and it will draw attention to, this is one of the sales here. We also will have a listing of registered sales that will be on our website and a map so that people can follow them. And it's fun. Last year we had, we always you get the people who register, but then you also get people who at the last minute say, I think I'll have one too. So I think I think last year we wound up with twice as many yard sales as we had registered.
Everybody
This
is
is the
welcome.
case, yes.
Everybody is
Oh,
welcome.
yes.
Yes.
Absolutely.
More the merrier.
Yes.
And everybody is welcome to attend, and you can have your own yard sale, get rid of stuff, and then go buy more stuff
Exactly.
to bring back and replace.
That is the process. I
Yes.
It's one big cycle.
And I also think it's really important that we touch base on Connecticut Open House Day, which is June 11th this year, correct?
13th.
June 13th.
June
I'm sorry.
13th.
It's the 11th annual Connecticut
Yes,
Open House
it
Day.
is.
And that's just a great event just across the entire state. Really, there's endless opportunities for you to bring your family and friends and check out all of the amazing things that our area has to offer. But or hyper-local rather, there's going to be the library will have.
What we are doing is we put together a Groton Bank-centric event, a package, if you will, for our celebration of CT Open House Day. And we have a number of participating sites, all of which are located on Groton Bank. The day will start, and they're all open, most of them open all day long. But the first scheduled activity is at 9:30 in the morning at the Bill Memorial Library. It is actually their 125th anniversary this year. So they've been in operation a long time. And longtime head librarian Hallie Keeler, who recently retired, is coming back to give a tour of the historic building. It is significant because it's architecturally significant. It's a Richardson style
It is.
built of stone from Stony Creek, which was one of the many quarries here along the Connecticut shoreline. And upstairs, most people don't get to see this. There is a natural history collection of butterflies.
Oh, neat.
Yes.
Okay.
They also have Colonel Ledyard's sword. So it's really quite interesting. So there is that, and then they will have coffee and birthday cake. And prior to the start of the Groton Bank architectural walking tour, which starts at 10, and that'll be led by Tom Althice, who is the president of the Groton Bank Historical Association. It lasts almost 2 hours. If you're interested in architecture, Groton Bank really has it all, because it was settled in the first half of the 17th century.
Yes, we also have part of Art on Groton Bank that afternoon. We are also going to have Tom do a lecture, a history lecture on the area, and also a briefer, but a tour of the area as well.
Wow.
So he has very generously volunteered to give the tour on both the 13th for CT Open House Day and the 18th of July for Art on Groton Bank. And then we have the Ebenezer Avery House, which is where the wounded were taken after the massacre in Fort Griswold. They have been doing, the Avery Memorial Association has been doing a lot of research into both the building, the hive of the Avery site. They have an archaeological dig going on there. So they'll be open, they'll have a couple of lectures about what they've been doing. The DAR will be manning an exhibit at the Mother Bailey House on Abbey de Slocum, who sent a package from, I believe it was Italy, at the outbreak of World War I. She was abroad and sent a time capsule, what became a time capsule, back here to Groton Bank. And there, I've seen some of the contents. There are a lot of articles about what the political climate over there. So that's pretty fascinating. They're also experts on Mother Bailey, of course.
Who is not your mother, but
She is no relation.
No relation,
No
okay.
relation.
You can obviously tell from what all these wonderful activities that Susan is talking about how very, very rich the history is for our area, for being such a small city.
Small city, big history.
We have huge amounts of history.
Yes.
And it's really wonderful that we're able to promote all of this and share it with the community and bring them in to what rich history we have.
absolutely. And I think it's amazing, you know, these are small organizations. So like when you opened up, you had said, you know, they're small organizations that can't really afford the publicity or to market an event on this type of a scale to this many people. And what I think is really great about this is not only does it give them that opportunity, but it shows how dedicated the people that are involved in these very
Absolutely.
what seem to be small organizations and have the passion that they have for
That's right.
their you know, their specific venue or
Yeah.
attraction.
And when you're talking about the city, we are, we're very small geographically. Really, in many ways, we're an urban village, or a series of urban villages.
Exactly.
And when you look at what Summer in the City has been able to do, what it really points up is that the whole is so much greater than the sum of the parts. It is.
Well, one thing I want to make sure we get to, you know, just a couple of the things that are going on that are happening as part of this, but I think it's really important we mention the motorcycle stunt show, which is, I know, one of Susan's favorite events.
Yes.
That's August 29th.
Yes.
She'll love to talk about that.
The motorcycle stunt show is awesome. It's at Washington Park, and it is a community project by the Wild Style Riders Motorcycle Club. And when you hear motorcycle club, many people have this image that they think of. And one of the reasons that I love this event so much is that, yes, it's a motorcycle club. That's right. They wear leather. They're tattooed. And they put an enormous amount of energy into putting this event together for the community. It's very family friendly. There are the motorcycle stunt show, which is really interesting. You know, I mean, it's not the Walendas, but
I
it's
don't like
really
motorcycles,
cool.
and I love this show.
It's really cool.
It's really good.
It is.
It's really
There's a DJ. There is grilling of food because gotta have food.
Food.
There is face painting. Last year there was a hip hop dancer who just showed up and gave lessons to kids, and they had this whole section of the parking lot where she and the kids were all doing hip hop dancing. I mean, it was wonderful. There's giveaways, and it's just a really, really exciting, feel-good event. So I hope that we will have a huge turnout again this year. Last year we were able to include the Southeastern Connecticut Mustang Club, and I'm hoping that they will be able to return. One of the sponsors for that event, and I want to talk about the sponsors a little bit for this program. The motorcycle show has New England Cycles has come as a sponsor for that, and they will be bringing bikes.
Excellent.
So they'll have a display, and they are very nice people. And then some of the other surrounding clubs participate also. You know, they bring their bikes. I mean, the display of motorcycles last year was mind-boggling. It really was. I
Completely.
mean, you look at some of these bikes and you're like, oh my goodness, you know, I just can't even believe that they make a bike like that.
Didn't know some of them existed.
Yes.
It was
They
great.
bring, I forget the technical name for it, but it's a stand for motorcycle so that they can put the bike on it and it can't fall over or move so that kids can get on it for
Oh,
photo
nice.
ops. And that's really fun for them. So it's just a delightful event. They're a great group of guys. They all bring their families, and it's just really, really fun.
Wonderful. Well, with so many great events going on, both with Summer in the City, Coast Guard Summer, it's just such a packed summer of really fun things. I feel like we could have the show go on for another 2 hours and
probably
still talk
could.
about these things. But in
And
the
we
meantime,
love to talk about it.
yes.
We love to talk about
I
it.
really want to make sure that people check out summerinthecityofgroton.com.
Summer in the City, Groton.
They can also check out the Greater Mystic Chamber of Commerce website, mysticchamber.org. All the events are on that as well. GrotonBiz.com. All of the events are on that. It's really important to us that we get the people out, we educate people that there's a lot to do and see in our own backyard that's free, that you should definitely be taking advantage of.
Almost everything is free.
Absolutely. And so I think, you know, we really couldn't ask for something better to be happening in our community. And it's been a pleasure to have you both on.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you.
Thank you. And until next time, I will see you next week with Suzette. But until then, have a good weekend and good night.